Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So normally these are live, right? I broadcast live. However, today is Friday, which means it's Sabbath for me. I'm a bit Jewy. I don't know if you picked that up from the title yet. No, I am a rabbi, okay? And so I go offline when Sabbath starts, which is when the sun goes down, which right now is around 6:30ish in Israel, 6:40. So it's about 4:30 in the UK. So anyway, that's essentially why I'm pre-recording this. It's my weekly segment. That was the week that was. Now, basically, everything that happened this week happened in the last couple of days, like since Doctor Who magazine came out. It's been a very, if we get to all the articles I want to get to, you'll see how quiet it's been. I think part of that radio silence ties into a rumor I heard from multiple sources, at least one of them very credible. I don't know how real it is. I wasn't in the room at the time, cannot testify it, but apparently... and I like it because it fits into my prejudices, okay? That's why people like rumors. That's why people believe anything, right? It's not because evidence or truth, it's because it fits into their prejudices, right? I mean, I tend to be... I like to imagine that I'm a... reality-orientated person, but I'm a Bible thumper as well, so take that as you may, right? So, but I like to be honest, right? I believe what I'm saying. We can go that far. Anyway, but I don't know if this is true. So apparently, Doomsday, how did it happen? I think everybody's initial reaction when we saw that trailer was like, what? How? What? I mean, it was, if you're a fan of Jodie Whittaker, he is, God bless you. I have nothing against you. But it was kind of like Jews just making it out of, being liberated for one of those camps that the Germans made in the 1930s and 40s, where you concentrated very, very hard, right? Those camps, those naughty National Socialists. So they, imagine being liberated from one of those, and then, you get your transport and they drop you off at another one, right? I'm like, no! I'm not going back to Auschwitz, which was, I think, many people's response to seeing that, because honestly, we've seen very, very poor quality Doctor Who and TV in general over the last 5 years or so, and whenever you criticised it, you were called a bigot, right? It was like, and that's what and so that's exactly what the woman who was the face of it did. Like, then she went onto Twitter and just went on a tirade and just had her ass handed to her over and over again. It was really embarrassing. I actually felt bad for her, and I didn't, because she's such a terrible person, but she really embarrassingly caused a lot of trouble. Anyway, so this whole this was to promote a transmedia event, right? So Rusty Davis did indeed sign off with that, but the rumor is he didn't see it, right? He didn't. It was like, fine, whatever. I think his motivation was thus, that he's got a lot going on, right? He's putting together this new show, new universe, whatever. So he's got a lot going on, and things just come at you 100 miles an hour, and you catch whatever you can. So he heard about Transmedia event. He said, yeah, sure it is. So we got the trailer, fine, signed up, and he didn't watch it, right? And then apparently, he only watched it after he heard of the furore that happened on Twitter, that what's the name, Suze. Again, I don't know if this is true. He saw it and was apoplectic. He had exactly the same result as everybody else did, but I think he was a little bit more upset because, I think the LGBTQ community and their I don't say issues, and their well-being, right? It's like that's very, very important to Rusty Davis. Look, if you're in your formative years, you had to really fight for some rights, and you were like left to die. You and every in your same group was left to die by a horrible disease, and then and people look down your nose at you. I can understand why he would be a little bit remaining to be on board for the LGBTQ plus, right? I think he's very upset, however, that there's just been substandard entertainment put out in the name of diversity, which is what one of the things I think he wants to do. I think he wants to make something diverse and not awful. So yeah, the first question is, which I think we'll look at this story first. before we really get into it. The question I think all fandom is asking is will this new iteration of Doctor Who be woke, right? So I'm going to define what woke is, because then the first defenses against this is say, well, what does it mean? It's a meaningless term. I will define it clearly, okay? I'll define it, and then I'll answer the question. I think with the first story. Fine. Before we get into it, can you hit the like, share, and subscribe button? If you're not on Rumble, head to Rumble. Rumble is doing so good for me, baby. Oh yeah. We love a bit of Rumble, right? Rumble, I get double or triple the views of my live streams, right? And probably this video as well, because I'm setting up to go out as a live stream. Again, I apologize, I'm pre-recording it. What can I tell you? God himself has told me to do that, which is always a bad sign. When somebody says that to you, you should never go to a second location with them, okay? No, don't do that. Again, this is just good advice for you, mate. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Look in the video notes. You'll find my Substack. Please sign up for that. There will be awesome books on tape when I get a minute to breathe. Okay. I didn't factor this in to my scheduling. Passover is on Wednesday night, right? And they're just a crazy amount of work. Like, you wouldn't even conceive how much amount of work there is to do for an Orthodox Jew for Passover. There's essentially insanely spring cleaning your entire house. But again, not just doing it for clean, just to make it clean. This is so God himself is commanding him to do it, commanding you to do it. So people take it very, very simple. You got to basically you got to get rid of every crumb of every grain product, right? It don't even ask, okay? Tell you what, if you know anybody Jewish, especially Orthodox Jewish, or you go past the synagogue, ask anyone, right? Ask literally anyone, right? How much of a pain in the ass is it, how much work it takes. Most people just go away. They sell the house, right? Well, they sell it for a week, right? It's a whole nother thing, right? Because there's some grain products you can't finish, you can't get rid of, right? You don't want to get rid of your whiskey. That's expensive, and you like it. So what you do is there's a temporary sale, right? You put all the stuff you're selling in a location, and then you give the location and you mark it to the person doing the sale, normally the rabbi, whoever, somebody in the community, and then all that stuff is sold to a non-Jew, because non-Jews are allowed to own it. Us Jews not allowed to own it, right? So we're going to get to Doctor Who in a minute, I promise. And maybe 2 minutes. So you have the and then if they don't pay for it by the end of Passover, then it reverts back to the owner, right? So essentially, so people do that to the whole freaking house, sell up, and they go away on vacation to a Passover vacation where somebody else said they sweat their bollocks off making a hotel kosher for Passover. Don't even ask, okay? Don't look into it. Don't even ask. You do not want to know. Anyway, when I'm done with that, hopefully I'll have some time, I can do this awesome book on tape, the Millennial Rights, which I've been threatening for ages, with a deep fake Colin Baker. Dr. Alex, if you're not signed up to his channel, he has some great deep fake audios right now. He's got his book, Season 13, that's his own... do I have a copy over here? Yeah, here we go. He has this book, Season 13, Season 12, Season 13, also available and audible now. But he has a deep fake cloned Peter Capaldi reading it. Freaking awesome, right? I like the book to start with, but with Peter Capaldi reading it, fake Peter Capaldi, freaking awesome. And can I just make an appeal? Big Finish, right? Big Finish. You have what you need to do to make a voice clone. You need clean voices, right? You need clean, with no music underneath everything. You have hundreds of hours. You need about 20 minutes of everybody. I would love you to get Sylvester McCoy, create a audio clone of him, and have him read the New Adventures, right? Have that audio clone reading it. Charge a cheap price for it, like $10, right? You make money, Sylvester McCoy makes money. Because one of the things I don't like about these deep faking things, I figure this is their business, their voice is something they develop. I think they should be paid for it. I think they should be able to license it out to them. But anyway, they'll get paid, you get paid, and we have an era of Doctor Who that isn't lost. And I would just really be 100% psyched for that, right? I would be 120% psyched for that. Fine. Let's start getting to the news story. So will this era of Doctor Who be woke? So people see things like this and they go, yes! Yes, well, this is from Pink News. That's always a bit of a giveaway right there. So let's define the term first, right? Woke, in my estimation, is a mindless adherence to social media algorithms' idea of what is not moral in the moment, right? So, I think, yeah. Well, a few months ago, a year ago, it was super moral to have a Ukrainian flag, right? It's just super duper moral to have a Ukrainian flag. And look, I'm not saying anybody is better, or I'm not saying I support either side in the conflict going on over there. It seems to me that if you just look at it rationally, logically, and honestly, I don't think either side is necessarily the bad guy in this, right? And I think the people suffering are you and me, essentially. So I think supporting this war was a terrible idea, right? But social media algorithms told you it is a fantastic idea, and even me suggesting that the war is a bad thing, right? That it was completely avoidable. Then they nearly had a truce a year ago, but Boris Johnson went and stopped it because he's brilliant, obviously. I know. I do think it's really bad news, right? I think the death and destruction and misery caused by war is, generally speaking, bad news. I think social media algorithms told us it was good. And so, yeah, you notice, like, there was an unquestioning belief in it, right? That's what woke is, right? That's what woke is in my mind. So I think the tenets of woke have synced up with the beliefs of Russell T Davies, right? Like, for example, if social media algorithms tomorrow decided that Jews should adhere to the Orthodox Jewish idea of what Sabbath is, right? Like all Jews should do that, right? Then it would sync up with my personal thing, right? And I'll be like, yeah, and I would appear woke, right? Whatever your personal thing is, if whatever the algorithms sync up with, if it syncs up with you, it syncs up. That's what happened with Ross Lee Davis. As I said, he comes from a background of gay activism when gay activism, I think, was very necessary, right? And I think through his activism, like my generation in general, right? By the time he hit the 2000s, it was a post-bigoted society, right? It was a post-racist society. When Doctor Who came back in 2005, nobody blinked that Rose was dating a black guy. Nobody cared. I mean, like, the idea was stupid, right? It just seems silly. But anyway, so I think he finds the LGBTQ plus rights a big deal, and I think that's been somewhat usurped by a segment of that. I can't say it too openly on YouTube, and I'm not wishing anybody harm in any way. I mean, genuinely, I'm not, right? But that's what. So I think he's somewhat co-opted by that. So anyway, we have this thing. There's going to be a trans man that's something I think biologically female. That's going to be in season 14. Well, again, I do you call this woke? It depends how it's done and why it's done, right? I think Ross Lee Davis likes to make characters out of people, which I don't think we've seen in entertainment much, right? I think which which I think prohibits it from being woke in my mind, right? I think for something to be woke, it normally means that the quality has to be awful, right? The quality has to just like melt away. And I just kind of doubt that's going to happen, right? Personally, I just doubt that's going to happen. I don't know. Is this a sign it's going to be woke? It could be, is the answer, right? It absolutely could be. See, my unease around trans people, right, is this is what I'm telling myself. Nobody knows if they're honest to themselves. You kind of. But I think the cause of my unease, I mean, other than it's a. I don't think it's a religious objection because it's not like the Old Testament is LB or G LB or G friendly either. It's very very unfriendly. Although you should know there is a misconception that the Old Testament says if you're gay you must be killed for that. No, it's not. That's not true at all. That's really not true at all. It's talking about believing in God, believing in the Old Testament, believing in God, being part of a God-fearing society, and then having public relations after being warned not to 3 times, right? At that point, you have the death, because it's a whole different thing. It's not like, an expression of love between 2 people, right? At that point, you can't. When someone's doing a gay sex show in the middle of the street, that's not an expression of legitimate love, in my opinion, right? I mean, give it 20 minutes, that'll be an identity, all right? So yeah, listen. While the Bible is not very LGBTQ or whatever friendly, I don't think it really hates anybody for being that, right? They would say differently. Again, that's from my point of view, right? That's generally that's from my point of view, and I kind of know the Bible reasonably well, right? Again, not going to pretend it's yay pride parades. It's not. But I'm also not going to pretend kill the faggots, right? Like, in my mind, you can be a faggot without being gay either. I met many straight faggots in my life. It's like that knows no boundaries, right? Knows no boundaries. Fine. So is it be gay? I don't know. I hope not. Will it be woke? Not gay. It's going to be gay. Like, it's going to be as gay as it was last time. Right, except now being gay also has comes with visibility for trans people. Okay, I think trans people are reasonably visible already. I don't think Rusty Davis is increasing that. Right, I don't think. And again, as long as it's good, entertaining characters, I think Yasmin Finney will probably be engaging as Rose. Right, in the 60th anniversary. I believe that, right? Maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out. So anyway, that's kind of an ongoing story. But let's get to what I think a bigger story this week was Doctor Who magazine coming out. The first thing I do when I turn to Doctor Who magazine is we go to Rusty Davis's column. But a good issue of Doctor Who magazine. They started individually ranking the Doctors from a 60-year survey. And they're doing it individually because I think things are going to come out badly for Jodie Whittaker, right? I think that's the plan. I think it's going to minimize that. But again, the first thing I always go to is a letter from the showrunner. Rusty Davis answered a distress call from fellow exec. Okay, that's is that Julie Gardner or Jane Chenter? All I know is they are so much. Julie Gardner, right? Julie Gardner and Jane Tranter. Come back. What's going on? Close the page view. There you go. I only want to zoom in. See, so annoying. Won't let. Really? Hang on. I've got an idea. If we do. How do I do this? You should be able to print the page. Oh, print pages, right? That. It should. There you go. Fine. So I don't. How do I open that up? Did it download? Let me see if it's in my downloads folder. Because if it's going to continually be moving around, that's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass. Did that download? No. Oh, was it? I do this. Worked it out. Fine. So we're going to go doink. Okay. Fine, so let me take that off the screen. And I'll open it up over here. Look, this is exactly like live. This is exactly the same diffused, I don't know what's going on kind of attitude that we normally have. Now I've got to find the bloody folder. File. Where'd it go? It was right there. No, okay, I got a folder called magazines. It should be in that. Right, here we go. Is it there? Yes! Fine, let's see if that opens up. What? No, that's the wrong thing. Oh, where is it? Maybe it's over here. Found it! Oh, at last. Doink. Fine, now let me share the screen. We go to the PDF. Adobe Acrobat app. Okay, fine, not PDF. Let's try again. Yay! There it is. Dun 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 dun. Oh, man, that was a real pain in the ass. Okay, fine. Oop. Let's read this. And again, Julie Gardner. I mean, like, both Julie Gardner and Jane Tranter had this weird Hollywood transformation. Look, I hope they're not eating the blood of innocent children, because that's what it kind of looks like. But yeah, Hot and Milfy. That's what they look like now. Bad Wolf is run by Hot and Milfy, and they are indeed Hot and Milfy. Sunday, 19th of February, 2023. Do you know it's hard work? Do you know it's hard work on Doctor Who? Do you know it's hard work on Doctor Who? Here I am on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm stuck in scene 20 to 22 of episode 8. That should be the season finale. Ugh. Should that vital object stay in the ops room or move to the chamber? I don't know, but if you say stuff like that, I get excited, Russell. What do you want out of me? And I've done a rewrite on episode 1, which includes the words Raw, Glastonbury, and Conquisitor. Okay, I love it when he does that, because I will remember that. He did this back in 2005. I will remember that, and when I see it, I'll go, oh, look, it's Conquisitor. Yay! That's fun. And I've just set notes on the third edit of episode 4, including... Yeah, this is why he didn't notice Doom's bloody day. He's too busy doing this, I think. Include episode 4, including cutting the line, I once went to the top of the shard. Okay, and hold on. Ping! An email from Julie Gardner. Disaster! I can't find any glitter body spray. Julie, you're just getting hotter, darling. Okay, that just makes you hotter and milfier. Now you're looking for glitter body spray. Well, listen. If I needed glitter body spray and I'm friends with Rusty Davis, that would be one of the first people I ask. Right, Russell, mate. Do you have any glitter body spray? Well, what colour do you want? I'll take Tutti Frutti. Well, hold on. Context. Julie's going to the BAFTAs because her husband and my lovely friend, Julian Howarth, has been nominated for Best Sound for Avatar Way of Water. I'm sorry, mate. I'm 20 minutes into that movie and it's a piece of shit. I'm sure the sound is great, but oh boy, is that on the nose. It should be like, I hate the white male patriarchy. The Avatar white male patriarchy. Something like that. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. 20 minutes in, my nose was flattened from things being so on the freaking nose. And just to prove that all stories are Doctor Who stories, let me tell you, they first met on-set romance on Doctor Who, a workplace romance with Daleks. Oh, what episode? That's so nice. I like that. I mean, like, again, Russell, can you do a little draw about them falling in love? That'd be lovely. Okay, on the set of Doctor Who, I would love that. Especially if you could do the hot milfy version, okay? You don't have to do the, like, honestly, Julie Gardner. Last time I saw a picture of her in the last, in 2008, right? She had an afro out here. She looked like she was in 1978, right? She could turn her head and the afro stayed there. She had huge hair and was super duper pregnant. But now, today, I say, this is ridiculous. A gay man, surely I can find some silver body spray. I think you can, Russell. I think you can. So I text my mate Ron Keith. Now, suddenly, the gay community of Cardiff goes into action, right? They should have gone to JT from Dan's podcast, the Space Book. I bet if I need to find body spray, I'm asking him, right? If I want to know where a good rave is, I'm asking him. I bet he knows, right? He just got that look of, I bet he knows. This is a great column. So Rob Keach, better than the Carter's finest drag queen, or the finest on a Tuesday afternoon. Well, look, this is, I think, the weird, divergent place we are in society right now. No one had any trouble with drag queens. Drag queens are super duper fun, right? It was like, yeah, listen, it was just fun, silly, somewhat, dirty entertainment. But when you insist you have to have kids go to it, it then gets to be a lot weirder, right? And I really think Russell understands the whole importance of childhood. I just think he's a good person. I do. I just really do. And that's from like paying a lot of attention to everything he said and all his work. I just think he's a good person. And if he's not a good person, boy, is he great at faking being a good person. That's really genuinely impressive, right? Yeah. That's what I would say. What am I up to? No, I just totally lost my place. Fine, so he went to the... Yeah, listen, if your drag queen mate doesn't have body spray, he's not a real drag queen, is he? Fine, so Rocky better on the finest drag queen on the finals on a Tuesday afternoon, Dr. Beverly Ball Crusher. Again, that's great as adult entertainment, right? When you bring in 6-year-olds, I don't think 6-year-olds should be normalised to Dr. Beverly Ball Crusher. Same way, look, it's not a gay thing. I don't think there should be, like, even strippers, if they're, like, not naked, if they're wearing a bikini or something. That shouldn't happen either. I don't think sex should really be introduced to children. I think most of us work it out all by ourselves, right? You know, it's not tough. I was going to say it's not hard, but man... there's a lot of puns that are going to come with that. Okay, so he's trying to get silver body spray from Dr. Beverly Ball Crusher. Where can Julie get silver glitter body spray on a Sunday afternoon in London? But again, the question really is, why does she need silver body spray? Okay, this for me is the most interesting thing that's happened this week. Okay, I'm really here. Just to prove that all stories are Doctor Who stories, Dr. Bev, despite having a name taken from Star Trek, the poor lost soul, is virtually vitally tied to the history of Doctor Who. We first met back in 2004. I told this story, but some of you weren't born, okay? Late one night, we were shooting the end of our very first episode, Rose, in the middle of Cardiff. The Doctor, Rose and Mickey were lined up for a pivotal last scene. Rose's choice to stay with Mickey or leave in the TARDIS with a mysterious travel in space and time. High drama, huge moment. It didn't really... I think the moment where she asked if the Doctor was alien, he said yes, and he burst into tears. That is the best moment of Rose, right? For me, I love that. Until the runner said to me, okay, well, I wonder what the runner does. Excuse me, would you like to pop into Minsky's? Oh, okay, we're filming right next to a gay club. So I potted it inside, wearing an anorak and a good old analog headphones, so I could still hear the dialogue being recorded outside. Well, really, Russell, mate, this was a pivotal scene. You just popped off to a gay club. You know, dude, everybody likes a handy, okay? Everyone likes a handy. You were supposed to be working, mate. I get. Well, listen, I think the stuff you did was... I think the output's good enough, right? I probably at the gay club too, for that matter. So I put it aside so I can still hear the dialogue being recording outside as I walked in. The doorway's at the top of a long staircase. Dr. Bev is on stage. And yes, truly faithful reader, she sings Star Maker from Fame to me as I walk slowly down the stairs. We meet, we hug, we hoot, we argue, I slap Bev and she slaps me, we kiss, and we make sweet love. Okay, this is, again, I'm very happy for you, Russell. I really, really genuinely am. I don't think casual sex is a good thing for people, right? I'm not telling you what to do. In terms of when I say a good thing, I think it will more often than not lead you to be unhappy, right? You'll feel good in the moment, but I think it will lead to, empty unhappiness, right? And like empty lives. I don't think that's what sex is really for. And I'm not judging you, right? I'm not judging you. This is your choice of life, and I might be wrong, and you might be right, right? I really have a problem with somebody trying to teach my kids that this worldview is the correct one and my one's the wrong one. Again, I'm not saying they're wrong and I'm right? But I'm saying I have the right to educate my children in what I believe to be truth. Right, and I think, that's just and that's the way we've ran society. because essentially parents care about children, right? And yeah, listen, this is great for adult entertainment. This is not good as things to bring 6-year-olds to, right? I think you're making my point there. And then I went back outside. Bloody hell. He went inside, met a guy, had sex with him, and then went back to... I'll take a couple of hours off, mate. That's quite impressive. Still one of my favourite nights on set. Well, really... look, getting laid normally makes things better. Yes. Okay, getting laid totally makes most things better, right? This is true. Filming gay on set of overnight on set. Filming gay club filming with barely a blink in between. Yeah, dude. And again, I'm so not judging you, right? I'm so genuinely not judging you. I'm just saying I don't think this is a good thing to bring to indoctrinate children into, right? My children, right? Or society. I just don't think that's where happiness is. I think all the boring stuff, I think, is where ultimate happiness is, like marriage, fidelity, parenting, respecting your elders, honesty in business, right? These things. The things we all know are right and wrong, right? Just loyalty. Right, and again, I understand there's sacred community where some of these things are closed off. If you're gay, you're not gonna you're not getting married and have. Well, you can always adopt. There's plenty of gay couples, but you're not gonna father children with your spouse, right? Unless it's a trans man. Oh God, there's too much. It does my brain in. Right, it does my brain in. But yeah, okay. Anyway, today help me, Dr. Bev. You're my only hope. Dr. Bev, like any drag queen, can solve every problem and suggests the Barry M range available in larger boots or Superdrug. Other cosmetics are available, except obviously on this day they weren't. At the same time, but why does she need body glitter? Right, for God's sake. I mean, she is hot and milfy, don't get me wrong. At the same time, the call goes out. The gays can hear a woman in barrel. Phil Collison is out for lunch, so just to prove that all stories are Doctor Who stories. He's with Michelle Collins, the captain from the Pentalion from Chris Chibnall's 42. Blimey. Yeah, you had to find something to praise Chris Chibnall about. That's a mark of a great writer. So the late Captain Catherine MacDonald comes to the rescue. Try Hamleys. What's Hamleys? Really? Yes. Or John Lewis. It's like we're in The Apprentice. That was my first thought when I saw Doomsday. Right? That this was an apprentice task gone horribly wrong. And in the climax of Dell, I'd frankly rewrite because it's not really that exciting enough. Team Drag defeats 42. Because yes, there's one pot, just one. He comes in pots, not can. Just one left of silver glitter in boots, gel, not spray. But what the hell? Christ averted. The BAFTAs can go ahead. Well, until 10 minutes before transmission. Then hang on, another ping from Julie. Total jumpsuit malfunction. But they're faithful readers and drag queens and fascinated Venn diagram intersection between the two. I will spare your blushes and look away. The point though is because all stories are Doctor Who stories. Yes, life on Doctor Who is hard work, but sometimes it's an absolute hoot. P.S. He lost. So, I think his new era of Doctor Who will be as woke as that was, right? I don't think he's comfortable bringing sexuality into. I don't know. I think in this day and age, I don't know. It's something we're really going to have to wait and see. But that is 100% why that is always my first read, right? I think that is absolutely the most interesting thing that happened this week. I think in Doctor Who. Fine. Let's see what else there is that came out. There's some more information from Doctor Who magazine. Doctor Who anniversary, 6th anniversary offers interesting intel on Rusty Davis scripts. Please tell me more. I'm colour me intrigued. The Doctor Who 6th anniversary directors Kaya Button, Tom Kingsley and Rachel Talali offers some interesting insights on RTD scripts. Okay. What are we up to? Fine. So the last time we checked in on how things were looking, Rusty, these upcoming 3-episode Doctor Who 6th anniversary special, episode director Hanya Butt and Tom Kingsley and Rachel Dye were sharing their thoughts on how the new TARDIS was looking. Now, thanks to Doctor Who Magazine 589, you can order it here, I already have. The trio is also sharing their reactions to the first reading of David's scripts, which, as well as what it was like having David and Catherine Tate back on set, returning to the Whoniverse. Well, they reinvented the Whoniverse. Each special is a really different flavour. That's interesting! Oh, I'm excited by that. So they're all going to have their own identity. I think it's a good idea. I do think that's a good idea. It feels like Russell Davies is flexing his muscles, showing all the different things Doctor Who can do. I bet you he is. Kingsley shared a sentiment said by all three directors. Kingsley discussed his absolute nightmare. Episode teasers Aliens and The Thing comparison. Okay, Russell. I opened mine and tore through it. Even as a reading experience, it was exciting. But I kind of got to the end and thought, well, I pity who's ever directing that because it's absolute nightmare. I was planning to email my agent next day and said, it's amazing, but no way. Then I woke up next morning, I was still thinking about it and started to figure out, well, how could you actually do this? It's really not. I don't think it's that expensive to do Aliens or Thing comparisons. Like both of them. If you're an ancient human being like me and lived in London, you may remember what's it called again? The Aliens experience. I can't remember. It was the greatest. I've been to Disney. I've been to Epcot. I've been to Universal. Been to all the massive theme parks. This was one of the best things I've ever seen. The only thing that matched it is the Terminator 3D experience they used to have in Universal Studios, which was freaking awesome. But the Aliens experience was in the Trocadero, which is a place in London. Used to be, I think it's closed down now. And you would have basically a bunch of guys that are in, Space Marine gear, right? And they got all Americans. They had they had the whole look, right? And said, okay, we're taking you into a xenomorph facility. This is my bad American accent. And so you go in, and it's like this room, right? A room with, but it all looks very industrial. And then the lights go off, and then this red light goes on with it's like a. And the guy comes back in, he's got this great-looking pulse rifle and says, they broke it out! We've got to get you out! And he takes you running up and down like 3 or 4 corridors. Again, this looks really cheap. And occasionally a guy in an alien suit comes out and there's good lighting and special effects. It has great sound. It was awesome. But the point is, cheap as chips, okay? Same thing with The Thing, right? It was cheap. I mean, other than the morphing it, but that's cheap as chips now as well. I mean, I can probably do that on my laptop. Right, so he was a bit unsure. What am I going to think about figuring out? Well, how can we actually do this? Because a lot of my episode is quite weird. Even the read-through. Rachel, your episode went down so well. And I was really jealous of you directing it. You getting it directed because there are so many complicated stage direction in mine. That must be. We've seen. We've seen photos of them doing a historical story. They've seen photos of them doing a present day story with Neil Patrick Harris, and we've seen a little clips of them in a spaceshipy thing in the trailer. I bet that must be the spaceshipy. That must be from there. The reaction, because there were so many complicated stage directions in mine, the reaction in the room was a bit like, I'm sorry, what? Which made me think it was going to be a disaster. But of course, when you go to film it, it's actually really cool. Here's the thing. Russell thinks visually, right? He thinks very, very visually. And the script for... remember when Derek Jacobi was Professor Yana and he becomes the master, right? And he had this little... bug, insect, alien type person with him, and called Chip Doe, I think. And in the script, she said Chip at the beginning of each line and Doe at the end, right? And it just didn't work well on the read through. It was just weird, right? But when you actually did it, I know it didn't work well when you looked at it on the page. Phil Collins says, I don't understand. But when he heard the read through of it, it all works because he makes the movie in his head. and then the whole thing is translating it onto into reality. Tell you, not much longer. This is not much longer. This is the way that movies are made, right? We're going to not need anything else. It's going to be really crazy. But of course, they're going to use that for porn first. Okay, every major advancement in technology is for war and porn. Okay, they're just those two things. Fortunately, we got quite a lot of that now, and maybe that's why technology is going so insanely quickly. Fine, but of course, when it came to film, it was all actually very cool. It's got a lot of similarities with my two favourite films, Aliens and The Thing. A bit of DNA of those mixed in with Doctor Who. Yeah, that. I mean, you kind of got that with the Impossible Planet. Was it? Yeah, Impossible Planet. What's the other name of the story in that? When they're all like crawling down the ducts. That was great. I used to love that. Talali reads all three outlines and some key difference between them. I read all three, and my first reaction was, wow. The first one is classic Family Who. Okay, good. It's bringing back that world that Russell left in 2010 with David and Catherine. And then after that, it becomes much more expansive with Russell really throwing... Oh, yes! So he gets us, like, in familiar territory first before it gets bigger, right? Really throwing his massive imagination at it while being thoughtful about setting up the next series. I bet he is. I bet this is going to be great. I'm sorry. Yes, there's going to be what you would call woke elements to it. I'm not sure if I would call woke elements, but what many would call. Will it be great? I think so. Look, honestly, I think so. Tele's episodes allow the director to embrace the stuff that scares you. Yeah, he keeps saying he wants to make it much more scary. My episode features lots of people in lots of scenes. There's soldiers, there's battles, and I thought I haven't always succeeded in doing the action stuff. I think you've been very good, Rachel Talley. I think she's been excellent. With loads of extras that well in the past, it really scares me. I was so determined to do that part really, really well. It's all about embracing the stuff that scares you. I agree with you, right? I do agree with you. When I'm doing comics, I always try and push forward. Like I did a superhero. Do I have a copy of it anywhere? I did a superhero comic for like the religious Jewish world, right? And it was the first time I drew superheroes. The first comic I drew was it was called Biblical. It's kind of like a, if you remember Vertigo, right? Kind of like that kind of feel to it. So the art didn't need to be that good. But when I stepped up and I did a superhero thing, that you really have to push your craft then, right? And now the thing I stopped working on halfway through. I really got to continue working on it. It's called Crown the Empire. I pushed myself to do like a whole nother look as well. Right, and yeah, that's where I think good work comes from. That's why I've always liked Nick Briggs' work, frankly, because I think he always pushes himself to do something interesting things creatively and pushes himself to do something new. So yeah, it's about embracing stuff that scares you. I think that's where good art comes from. Yeah, I agree with you. Button's episode was just the most expensive thing that the director has ever read. It was just the most expansive, right? Pretty expensive. Expansive thing I've ever read. Every page I turned, I was in a different world and a different idea and a different sort of bonkers inspiring adventure. Oh God, I'm so excited. Will you stop? Oh, you're making me crazy. It was the ultimate luxury to read it and go, this writer is at the very peak of his abilities. Yes. I agree. Completely unbound in confidence. Yes, I agree in what he's putting on the page, which as a director is very empowering. It's challenging in most of the positive way possible for someone to go, here's a big idea. Let's see what you do with it. Yeah, listen, I think that sounds very, very exciting, right? Very, very exciting. So let's do one more story. Yeah, let's keep going. Doctor Who director confirms the return of a classic monster for the 60th anniversary. Enemy of the Meats. That's not really a classic... Oh, man, Beat the Meat looks good there. That's not really a classic monster, right? That's from the... How do I get rid of this? Leave me... Oh, there you go. Fine. The upcoming specials... David Tennant as the 14th Doctor have already been confirmed to feature Curly Monster Beat the Meat, plus Neil Patrick Harris... speculated as a celestial toy maker. So this comes from the magazine. Speaking of Doctor Who magazine, said there are these 8-foot-tall monsters on stilts in a massive plastic suits who could see everything and could barely stand. Who couldn't see a thing and could barely stand up. Man, they look great, right? So it's classic Doctor Who situation. When David comes along, he wants to photograph them, and he says they smell that slightly rubbery smell is exactly the thing I remember. I did thought it's amazing. This is my job. Yeah, could you imagine? Look, David Tennant's about my age, right? He read Star Piece at the same time, seeing this thing in real life. Yeah, and this is such a great recreation of Dave Gibbons' artwork. The inclusion of the Wraith Warriors in Russell Davies' special episodes may provide a hint to the storyline, as they're closely tied to species known as the Meeps. Beep the Meep has already been seen in the trailers and may appear to be a cuddly psychic, but is portrayed in the spin-off media as a megalomaniac bent on universal domination. I think it's going to be huge. I think people are going, again, stop thinking about Doctor Who fans. We really don't matter, right? I hate to tell you this. We don't. The normies are going to love this shit. This is Baby Yoda on steroids, right? The normies are going to love this shit. The Wraith Warriors were genetically engineered from the most fearsome species in the universe, specifically to go to war with the Meeps, so they're likely to be after Beep in the TV specials. You think, right? You think. Doctor Who fans of Great Totality, Heaven Sent, Hell Bent, and Twice Upon a Time, both excellent episodes, right? Both really excellent episodes. I want to do a couple more stories. Okay, I want to keep going. David Tennant in Doctor Who costume was a Red No Day surprise. Well, they told you about it weeks before, or a long time before. Doctor Who executive producer Phil Collison on David Tennant appearing in costume for the Red Nose Day being a pleasant surprise to them. If you ever had a chance to check out this year's... It's awful. Don't. Speaking in Doctor Who Magazine 589, this is where all the news came from, right? Phil Collison shares how much the long-running series appreciates being associated with worthy and charitable causes, but even they were surprised at how much how much of the Doctor Tennant ended up showing off, right? A lot of people have thanked us for contributing for comic relief. In fact, we had nothing to do with it. Well, this is interesting. See, this is the sort of stuff I genuinely like, right? I genuinely like. Oh, you know what? There is one more story we're doing after this, which I really want to get to, right? Yeah. A lot of people have thanks for contributing. It had nothing to do with it. We were delighted to be associated with a good cause. David's had a long association with them, and we knew. And the first we knew it was when the request came from Comic Relief asking if we were happy. We'll be happy to, with the scene with Lenny Henry regenerating, and David said, "Oh yes, far away. Help yourself." Okay. To be honest, I was pleased that they'd even asked. I was very considerate of them. Collison shared, right? Initially, the plans were pretty elaborate until schedule and deadline require plans to be dialed back a bit. I think the initial plans were very elaborate to create a full restaging of Jonah's regeneration into David, but a message came through a few weeks later because of schedules and deadlines. They simply could. They asked if they simply could simplify it. Again, of course, no worries. We were honoured simply to be mentioned in the same breath. Okay, so what happened? And it was down to the timing that resulted in us being treated the 14th Doctor much more than was originally thought. Things got slightly complicated on February 23rd when David and Sir Lenny, because so many people who are deeply oppressed in society get knighted. You're absolutely right, Lenny. Shot was called An Appointment to View Trail. What's that? The plan was for David to be in his normal clothes, but they ran out of time, and he stayed in his costume! Oh, I love that! See, this is how I think great things happen. Yeah, this is it. So the bonus is you get to see a bit more of that costume than anybody planned. For the best ones, of course, we're glad of that. Then Comic Relief is still accepting donations, Coulson added, right? Yes, and then talk about Doctor and Red Nose Day. Boy, it wasn't good. Right, it wasn't good in terms of being funny in any way, right? It was not good. Fine, that was the week that was. Let's wrap up with this story. Paul O'Grady pitched the Doctor Who role and had a very specific idea in mind. So Paul O'Grady, if you don't know, if you're not from England or Ireland, he recently passed away, I think 2 days ago. Absolutely beloved, right? And absolutely beloved broadcaster. I just heard he's got a show called The Love for the Love of Dogs, right? And I love dogs, so I'm definitely going to check that out. But man, he loved Doctor Who. He was beloved in the UK. He was beloved in Ireland, and for a good reason, right? For good reason. He was funny. He was honest. He was touching. You felt connected to him. He was a massive talent, right? And I think it's tragic they died. He died age 67. That's young. Man, that's really young. In Israel, I think if you die under the age of, is it 60 or 70, your gravestone has the corner cut off from it, right? Like, and my mother died before she was 70, right? So I think that's where she had it cut off. Or maybe it was 60. I can't remember. With countless celebrity friends playing true. Among them was Davis, who confirmed the comedian and presenter pitched a role to Doctor Who among Doctor Who showrunner, hoping to star in the long-running sci-fi epic. After the greatest news broke, Davis shared a photo on Instagram alongside with the caption, the saddest news, what a star, what a lovely man. Yes, 100%. He was ferocious in the fight against AIDS. He made everybody love drag. Again, I just wish drag... Consenting adults, right? Yes, no problem. I just wish drag wasn't the thing that had to be in the public forum, because it's really, I think it's the same as having strippers, right? Which I think is different from grid girls, right? Grid girls are very attractive women wearing, I would say, tight-fitting clothes, right? That show off their cleavage, but it's not. I don't think they're strippers, right? The strippers is like that's. It can only be sexual. There's definitely titillation and sexual, right? It's if you watch Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, for example, you got Indy with Steven Spielberg's future wife, kind of getting on, but they don't really get it on. It's more like it's what kids think grown-ups should do, and so there's no real sexual chemistry between them. But she's very pretty, right? I think the real line where it got blurred is Page 3 girls, because that's masturbatory material, basically. I hate to say anything that's masturbatory. Well, everything's masturbatory. Everything that's intended to be masturbatory material. Literally, look. If I hold this up, somebody's going, "Oh yeah." That everything can be masturbatory material. Well, for me, mainly Nicola Bryant. Billy Gibson's coming in there, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm a man who looks at the future. He once asked me if he could be in Doctor Who. I just wanted to wear a white. I just wanted to wear a white collar and carry a clipboard down the corridor, and saying, "I think it's a live Doctor." When asked in 2021 if he despised anyone, he said, "Every stinking member of the lying, self-serving government." I agree with you, but I would say the Labour's pretty much the same as that as the Conservatives. I don't think there's anybody who's particularly good. There will never be another like him. A greatest friend, Avenger star Linda Thorson appeared on Thursday's Good Morning Britain and shared that he died in his own bed next to his husband, Andrew Potasia, right? Okay, I mean, it's lovely. I mean, if you gotta go, you gotta go, right? Yes, exactly. I mean, that's okay. And I think he probably deserved. I don't know anything about him. He seemed like a lovely guy, right? He seemed like a genuinely lovely guy. And I don't think maybe you can. I don't know. I'm so naive, right? I'm so naive that I think people are actually being honest a lot of time. Maybe. I hope that's who he was. We ask at this difficult time, whilst you celebrate his life, also respect the privacy as we come to terms with his loss. He'll be greatly missed, missed by loved ones, friends, and family, and all those who enjoyed his humour and wit. I know that he would want to thank me for the love you've shown him over the years. Yeah, listen, very sad. So, right after I wrap up, I believe there's a really weird Doctor Who sketch that he did, like really genuinely strange. We're going to go into that before the titles, assuming I can find it. If I can't find it, I'm going to go right into the titles. Who knows or dares to dream? You will find out very shortly, because I'm about to wrap up. So that's me up for Friday. Join me tomorrow, Saturday night. I will be back live. It's going to be 7 o'clock UK time, we got a lot of stuff to go over. We have a lot of stuff to go over. We got Picard, we got Mando, we got a lot of Doctor Who stuff, we got Doctor Who magazine. There's a lot of stuff to go over. Plus, I'm sure there's going to be new things to take the piss out of. I'm sure there'll be new things to take the piss. By the way, also, you probably missed it. This is going out after that. I'm planning on doing a Rumble exclusive talking about the implosion of America, because you can't talk about that on the YouTube. So that's going to be probably about an hour before this comes out. Probably. If I'm able to do it, right? If I'm able to pull it together. Who knows or dares to dream? But ladies and gentlemen, may I wish you a very good Friday, where you have a fantastic weekend. See you tomorrow, and have yourselves an awesome night.
Get the A to Z out.
No, we use our eyes. Now let's have a look. We're on a desolate, low-gravity planet. Concrete structures, no signs of any intelligent life forms. Any ideas?
Milton Keynes.
Close, but wrong. We're on one of the twin planets of Gonad, inhabited by the scrotums. Rich in magnesium silicate and telavivium, vital to a scrotum's life form.
Yeah, I've just thought they've got wicked duty-free on here, you know. We should go and get ourselves some fags.
Well, it's a good idea, eh? And I tell you what I could do with getting some lateral balance cones for this. Do you know what? I'd kill to have hold of my sonic screwdriver. I'd fix that in a jiffy.
Isn't it a shame?
Oh, it was marvellous, that tool, you know. It came from Argos.
Oh, I'll never go in that shop. It's like signing on the way they make you queue up in those sections.
Not the shop, the planet. God, I'll never get another one.
No, that rotten pterodactyl smashing it on you. Why did he do it, Doctor?
Jealousy, Gaylor. Jealousy. Jealous of my superior intellect. I was only trying to be helpful. All I said was, you can twiddle the knobs on that EHF wide bandwidth variable oscillator all night, but you still won't get Channel 5. Come on, let's get the duty free.
Doctor!
What?
Shall I put the macro-mac integrator and multiple defence system on?
Nah, we won't be out long. Just leave the lights on. Come
Shall
on.
we take the dog?
I suppose you better that. KY, come on, my darling. Come on, there's a darling. Do you want to go walkies? Come on, do a poo-poo for the doctor. Yes?
I wish, mistress, that you wouldn't refer to me as darling. And could we please desist with the infantile vocabulary when inviting me to evacuate my toxic waster chamber during a perambulation?
Listen to him.
I know you've got a cheek. Come on then, Tintits. Let's see you get over that step on your own. Come on. See, you can't. Same as them Daleks. World domination. They have to be in a masonette because they can't manage stairs, can they? Come on. And here you. No transmigrating of any object.
Eh?
Shoplifting. Sorry.
Doctor, doctor,
Gaylor, look who's here.
long time no see. How are you, Gaylor?